Hey guys, Jerod here, Masculine Men's Club. Hope everyone's doing well. In this video, I'm sure you've heard this man's name. He's everywhere, or he has been everywhere since or before he was canceled. He was even on Tucker Carlson. His name is Andrew Tate. Now there's a lot of influencers that have done videos on him, good and bad and in the middle. If you don't know who he is, you can simply Google him and you can certainly find some videos out there. He has been canceled. And what I mean is he's no longer on Instagram, he's no longer on TikTok, he's no longer on Facebook. I don't think he's much on YouTube. You can find videos of him on YouTube, but his platforms have been completely canceled. Whether you like the man or not, we have to talk a little bit about free speech, and we have to talk a little bit about why does one person who has a view or different views, good or bad, right or wrong, get canceled when other people have different views, again, right or wrong, but they're allowed to stay on. Perfect example is this fucking retard Carly B. She's a moron, yet she has millions of followers listening to her. She's fine, nobody's canceling her. They cancel a guy who is going against the grain. He's typically talking about traditional values. Now, if you've seen the short clips for Andrew Tate, you're actually missing out and you're not giving yourself a chance to hear him out. He has long form videos. These short clips are typically cut up, rearranged, so it makes him sound, or makes his point of views sound quite different than if you actually listened to the man, his full video. So if you're only watching short clips and you form an opinion about him, or if you form an opinion about anybody off short clips, then you're an idiot, plain and simple. You need to go and look at and view his long form videos. Nothing this man is saying is out of line. Yes, he has a different view, women on dating, that most people don't. Yes, he has views on traditional roles of, the way the man and the woman should be, but he's not wrong. Those are his views. And here's the thing, if he's able to amass millions of young men who are following him, and yes, some of them might be trying to imitate him, don't do that. Don't imitate an influencer. Don't imitate anybody else. Just take the things that we say as ideas, as thoughts, as opinions, reflect on them and make them your own. Say, do I agree with this? If I agree with it, great. If I don't agree with it, then that's fine. The people that don't agree with Andrew Tate are typically feminists, they're typically liberal, they're typically weak men who feel like what he's saying is evil. But it's not. Look at his long videos. Is he polarizing? Absolutely. Does he say things to maybe garner more attention? Absolutely. Guys, all influencers do that. All influencers amp up themselves a little bit more, but inherently are still trying to be true to themselves. This is what everybody does. The thing with Andrew Tate that I actually enjoy his videos on, number one, he's a multi-millionaire, and he was prior to Facebook. He has beautiful women, he has fast cars, he doesn't even live in the United States, but he was born here. These are all things that young men look for. They look for when you were 21 or 18. What did you want? You wanted a Lamborghini, a beautiful woman, and a fat ass house. That everybody does. Every man wants that. So he is basically the only one in the manosphere, if you want to call that, or the red pill community, who men can look up to and say, this guy's actually doing what I want to do. Now, will they get to his level? Sadly, no. Vast majority of men will never reach the caliber that Andrew Tate has. However, his messages can help young men. He has plenty of videos talking to, I believe it's the Twitch stream. I don't really know too much about it, but there are a lot of video game players. These guys have millions of followers, and literally they make millions of dollars by playing video games. All he did was kind of talk about, you skipped an entire process on becoming what actually is a valuable man. These kids are young, they're out of shape, they're rich, they have a huge following. But typically, in order to achieve that, it takes years. I'm 47 years old. I started out in the military at 18. It's taken me years to become who I am. I've had failures, I've had successes, I've had heartbreak, ups and downs, I've built my body. These are the processes typically men have to go through. He did a video that basically said young men who are aspiring to be video players or aspiring to just, be content creators that are making millions of dollars, have millions of fans, they've skipped that process. And by default, they're not technically a man. That pissed off a lot of people, I'm sure, but his biggest content is the women. For whatever reason, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all of them, and it's funny because they're all owned supposedly separately, but there seems to be somebody above them that within seconds, everything was deleted. That's the problem I have. If you don't like what somebody says, don't follow him. Turn off his feed, who cares? No, what people do is he's so polarizing, you don't know what he's gonna say next. And it just pisses off more and more people. And then really what has happened, I think, he's found a way to beat the algorithm of all of these channels, specifically YouTube. And he's done it in a way that's absolutely brilliant. He's had his followers create channels and create these 30, 15-second videos. Now that was a fault of him because he allowed that. He could have locked out his videos. He could have put some controls in it, but he didn't. So that was a fault of him by allowing these people to use their platform, use his images, use his videos on their platform to gain followers. Everybody does it. That's probably more than likely what actually happened. YouTube probably looked at it. Now guys, gotta remember, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world behind Google. So YouTube is huge. He completely dominated YouTube for probably a period of a month or two. Every feed that man was on, everything that guy was on. And he never really had his own account. He had other people create this. And so what does that do? The algorithm says, okay, this guy's trending, this guy's trending, this guy's trending. Everything blows up. He gets paid for, these types of viewerships, and YouTube's looking at it like, fuck, this guy just beat our algorithm. So I'm sure it happened with Facebook, I'm sure it happened with Instagram, I'm sure it happened with TikTok. They all decided to cancel this guy. I don't believe for a second it was because they thought he was a threat to the world and to young men. It was a threat to their business model. That's what I think actually happened. And I'll probably get canceled for fucking saying this, but I don't care. The end of the day is if you don't like what somebody says, then don't listen to them. It's very simple. I don't know why people get their panties in a bunch when somebody says something that goes against what they believe. It makes no sense. If you don't believe it, no big deal. Fuck the guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. It's cool. I think Andrew Tate will come back. They'll probably have some controls on him. I think he will redo his speech a little bit more so it'd be harder to cut up. I also believe that he will still stay true to himself, but he'll probably tone down his messages a little bit. But again, if you've only watched his 30-second clips, 15-second clips, you're really doing yourself, you're not doing yourself a favor. Go to his long videos and then you'll actually see what he's talking about. All he's talking about is becoming the best version of yourself, becoming a dominant male, having courage, what we just talked about in the last video, having physical strength, having emotional self-control, independence, leadership. He's talked about all the positive aspects of male masculinity. So, did he talk some about maybe the toxic side? I don't believe he did at all. Again, to the long videos. So I'll leave this with that. Take a look at it if you are interested a little bit more in Andrew Tate and really look into why he got canceled. That's the scary part. Anybody can just be canceled because, these big companies don't like the message. I think it's scary. I think that we definitely need some controls over this. And if he gets canceled for this, all of these companies need to look at all these other influencers that are potentially damaging other people and cancel them. With that, again, this is Jerod with Masculine Men Club. We'll talk to you soon.